Hey guys, that's right, we're solving more equations today. Well, in this situation, we're going to be solving equations that have a fraction exponent, but I promise it's super easy. So let me show you how we do it. First off, we take a look at the exponent that we're working with. If our original exponent that we're working with, um, the top of my fraction, if the top of my fraction is even, we're going to use a plus or a minus. In other words, we're going to have two answers. Now, we have to check those answers because one of them may be what's called extraneous. However, we're going to use plus or minus. And if the exponent is odd, we're going to use only positive or negative. So we're just going to use positive or negative, and we're only going to have one answer. So that's the big difference here. Our next big difference is how we solve these. Well, we set it up the same way. Let me show you. We're still going to set it up the same way. We're still going to isolate, step number one, isolate the term containing the rational exponent. So we're going to get this term by itself. And then we're going to cancel that exponent out. I'm going to show you how to do that. Before we do that, though, let's first look at this and be like, oh, my top number, that is even. So I know on this problem, we're going to have to use a plus or minus, and we're going to get two answers, at least to begin with. Okay, so we're trying to get that x to the 4/3 by itself, right? So our first step is I need to get rid of this 2 that's attached to it. So we're going to divide this side by 2 and divide this side by 2. So we're going to have x to the 4/3 equals 32 divided by 2 is 16. Now, let me show you how easy this is. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this 4/3, the power of 4/3. And the way we do it is we're going to raise both sides to a power that is reciprocal of the power in the problem. Remember, reciprocal just means whatever power it is flipped. So this one is 4/3. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise this side to the power of that flipped. I'm going to raise it to the power of 3/4. And the great thing is that cancels out. And so I'm just going to have x equals not 16. Since I raised this side to the power of 3/4, I also need to raise this other side to the power of 3/4. But Mr. Martin, I don't know how to do that. Well, remember, we talked about how we can convert things that are written like this into roots. However, you don't have to do that. You can pull up your handy dandy calculator. Remember, if you don't have your calculator downloaded onto your Chromebook, do that. The link is on the home page of my Canvas class. Okay, so we're going to take 16 and we're going to raise it. See right here, 16 raised to the power of 3/4. So we're going to click this power button here on the right side. And that's going to put my clicker up in the top. And then I can just type in whatever I want my power to be. And I want this one to be 3/4. So we're going to put little parentheses just to be certain. And we're going to go 3 divided by 4. And then we're going to go 16 to the 3/4 is 8. So all that work for nothing. I'm going to check real quick. 16 divided by, do I need to put the parentheses? 16 to the 3/4? No, I don't. So you don't have to put the parentheses. You still get the same answer. Okay, so 16 to 3/4 is 8. So x equals 8. However, oh no, I made this note for myself and I can't forget. This isn't just a regular 8. This is a plus or minus 8. So we're going to get two answers. We're going to get x equals 8 or x equals -8. Now, we're going to take both of these answers and plug them back in. We got to check. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to check it. First, we're going to go 2 times 8 to the 4/3. And we're asking, does that equal 32? So we're going to go 8 to the 4/3 times 2. Let's plug this in. So we're going to go, bring up my calculator, 2 times 8 to the 4/3 equals 32. Excellent. What about -8? What about the opposite, right? Because that's my other one. So this one checks out. It equals 32. What about my other one? 2 times negative 8 to the 4/3. We're going to ask that same question. So I pull up my calculator again. 2 times negative 8 to the 4/3. That equals 32 too. So both of these work, so I can say confidently that both of them are correct answers. Okay? So make sure you check and see what your top exponent is, and if it's an even, don't forget to use plus or minus. Let's take a look at number 2. So number 2, we have 3x to the 1/2 plus 6 equals 0. Okay, well, we're going to start off, we get the portion that's being raised to the exponents by itself, and we're going to check my top. And the top is an odd. 1 is an odd number, so we're just going to get one answer on this problem. Okay, so to start it off, I'm going to get rid of this minus 6. We're going to have parentheses, 3x to the 1/2 equals negative 6. Then, I'm going to clear out that 1/2 by raising both sides to the reciprocal of it, to it flipped. So I'm going to raise this side to the power of 2. I'm going to raise this side to the power of 2. Now, the great thing is that cancels, and so I just have 3x equals whatever negative 6 to the power of 2 is. Let's pull up my calculator. Well, okay, so that might have confused everybody, but remember that's just 2 over 1. But you don't have to write the over 1 part, okay? You don't have to do that. So we're just going to go to our calculator, and we're going to go parentheses, negative 6 raised to the power of 2. And that equals 36. So we're going to have 3x equals 36. Divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals 36 divided by 3 is 12. So there you go, x equals 12. So now, I know we only got one answer, but we still need to check it, okay? So we're going to take that 12, we're going to plug it back in. So we're going to go over here, we're going to check it. And I'm going to go 3 times 12 to the 1/2 plus 6, and we're asking, does that equal 0? So I pull up my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to go parentheses, 3 times 12 raised to the power of 1/2 plus 6. Oops. Okay, so let's try that again. 1/2, and then we have to click 1 over to leave the exponent. Then we click plus 6. Okay, hit enter. That equals 12. Hold on, yeah, that equals 12. How does that work? Let's see here. Did I mess up? Okay, 3 times 12 is 36. 36 raised to the... Yep, that's not going to work. This actually isn't a real answer. This one does not work. Because, check this out. This is an extraneous solution because it doesn't actually work, because we can't have something raised to the 1/2 equaling a negative. So this is not a solution, and so the correct answer for this problem is no solution. That is why we check, because sometimes we get no solution for our answer. All right, let's turn the page. Still number 3. So number 3, we're trying to get that parentheses by itself. Look at my top number. It's odd, so we're only going to have one answer maximum. And then we're going to solve for that parentheses. We're going to start off, we're going to minus 1 to both sides. That gives me negative 3 times 2x minus 1 to the 3 over 2 equals negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 3. We're going to get 2x minus 1 to the 3 over 2 equals negative 24. Divided by negative 3 is a positive 8. Now, we want to cancel out that 3 over 2, right? And so to cancel out that 3 over 2, we're going to raise both sides to the power of its reciprocal, to its opposite. These flip, and the great thing is those cancel out. And so we're going to raise this side to the reciprocal 2, to the 2/3. So after those cancel, we're going to have 2x minus 1 equals 8 to the 2/3. Now, I'm going to pull up my calculator, and we're going to figure out what that is. 8 to the 2/3. And that's going to be 4. So we're going to have 2x plus 1 equals 4. Now I can just add 1 to both sides, get 2x equals 5, and then divide both sides by 2. So don't get freaked out if you see a fraction, right? That's just x equals 5/2. We can still check this, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to check it over here. I'm going to go -3 times 2 times 5/2 minus 1 raised to the 3/2 plus 1 equals -23. We're asking, does that equal -23? So we're going to take this whole side, we're going to plug that into my calculator. So here's my calculator. We're going to go -3 times 2 times 5 divided by 2 minus 1. And the last step is we're raising it to the power of 3/2 plus 1. So we're raising it to the power of 3 divided by 2. Click out of here, plus 1. And that equals -23. And guess what? That's what we're looking for, -23. So we got -23 equals -23. Now, would it have been easier to just multiply -1 and then raise the power and work it out step by step? Maybe. But we did still get my right answer there. All right, take a look at number 4. Number 4, my parentheses is already isolated. It's already all by itself. So all I need to do here is get rid of this 2/3. But notice that is right there is a even number. So if that's even, we're going to have to remember to use a plus or minus on this problem. Okay, to get rid of this power of 2/3, we're going to raise this side to the power of 3/2 and raise this side to the power of 3/2, right? So these cancel out, and that's awesome. So we're just going to have 2x plus 1 on this side, and then we're going to plug in that 25 to the 3/2 into my calculator. So I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to go 25 to the 3 divided by 2, hit enter, and that is 125. So 2x plus 1 equals 125, and now we're just going to solve. -1, oh, oops, look at me making mistakes again. That's just not a regular 125. Remember, plus or minus. So that's going to be a plus or minus 125. So we're going to split this into two problems. We're going to have 2x plus 1 equals positive 125, and we're going to have 2x plus 1 equals negative 125. All right, so we're going to get two answers. First answer, let's minus 1 to both sides. Get 2x equals 124. Divide both sides by 2. And we're going to get x equals 62. Second, let's solve this side. Minus 1 here, minus 1 here. We get 2x equals negative 126. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals negative 63. So here are my two answers, but we're going to check both of them. So first off, let's check 62. Let's go 2 times 62 plus 1 to the 2/3 and ask, does that equal 25? And so we'll plug that into our calculator. 2 times, oh, let's put parentheses, sorry. 2 times 62 plus 1 to the 2/3. Hey, that equals 25. So this one checks out. So 62 checks out. Let's try negative 63. Okay, so let's try this one. We're going to go 2 times negative 63 plus 1 raised to the power of 2/3. Hit enter. Hey, that one equals 25 too. So this one checks out as well. So both of these are true answers. All right, our last problem here, number 5. We got 20 minus x to the 1/2. We're going to start off by raising both sides to the opposite because we already have this solved for. So we're going to raise both sides to the reciprocal. So we're going to raise both sides to the power of 2. So we're then going to get this cancels, and we're just going to have 20 minus x equals x squared. So this creates a quadratic. Sometimes quadratics just pop out, and we have to remember how to factor to solve for these quadratics. Okay? So remember, you can factor, you can use the quadratic formula, but let's factor. So I've created one that's probably going to give me 2 answers. So we're going to, first, let's bring everything over to this side. Okay, let's get 0 on one side equals x squared plus x minus 20. Then let's label my A, my B, and my C. Then we can do my x and my plus. On top of my x, we're going to write A times C. So on top of my x, 1 times negative 20, we're going to have negative 20. On bottom, we're going to have B, which is 1. And so we're going to think of 2 numbers that multiply to the top but add to the bottom. That's going to be 5 and negative 4. My A is just 1. So we're going to have 1x, and those are going to be my factors. X plus 5 and x minus 4. Then we're going to set those equal to 0. We're going to say x plus 5 equals 0 and get my answer that way, and x minus 4 equals 0. Then if I minus 5 to both sides, we get my answer of x equals negative 5. If I add 4, x equals 4. So both of these are answers, but one of them might be extraneous, so we have to plug it back in and check. So we're going to take my original equation and plug both of these back in. We're going to go 20 minus negative 5 to the 1/2 and be like, okay, does that equal negative 5? Because we have an x over here too. My other one, we're going to go 20 minus 4 to the 1/2 and say, does that equal 4? So let's try our top one first. 20 minus 5, 20 minus a negative 5 raised to the power of 1/2. And we're asking, does that equal negative 5? No, it equals positive 5. So this one isn't going to work. What about 4? Let's try this one. 20 minus 4 is the 1/2. Does that equal 4? So 20 minus 4 to the 1/2. And hey, that equals 4. So this one checks out. So we only have one true answer on this one. Okay, our last one. Summarize how to solve an equation that has a rational exponent. Well, all we have to do is raise both sides to the reciprocal of the exponent. All right, guys, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for paying attention. I hope you have a great rest of your day.